president of the Atlanta Medical Association. We want to welcome you to our next episode of Ask a Black Doctor. And today, we're going to be talking about your financial health. Now, the past few shows, we've been dealing mostly with your physical health. We had a great show where we talked to healthcare workers that are on the front line, and we talked about ways that we could protect ourselves. We also asked a lot of questions of the general public about the disease. That was several weeks ago. And then the following week, we talked to our children and to our parents, because our parents have a lot of questions, our students have a lot of questions. So we were able to go and answer a lot of questions. We had a child psychologist and a pediatrician with us that did a fantastic job of answering your questions. Then the following week, we had a show on your mental health. And that was probably the most popular show that we've had yet, because we're all so stressed out. We're so anxious. We don't know what to do. And so lots and lots and lots of questions from the public came in, and we had two fantastic psychiatrists that were really able to go through and articulate how we're feeling, that it's okay to feel certain ways, and they were able to identify a lot of resources to help us get through this. But just as important as all of those is our financial health. And we know that a lot of us are struggling, particularly us in the Black community are struggling. A lot of us have been fired or furloughed. A lot of us were unemployed to begin with. A lot of us that thought we had safe and secure recession-proof jobs have found out that that's not true. This is a different time, and we really don't know where we are headed. So we are here. I know the name of the show is Ask a Black Doctor, but we have 4 young men with us today who are doctors in their own specialty. And so they're going to introduce themselves and talk to you and answer your questions. Please remember to send out your questions in the chat. You can also see us on Facebook Live. And also after the show is over, you can check out our YouTube channel. So please, when you send in a chat, tell us where you're from. We want to recognize you and have you shout out your hometown. We just want to have a good time here. This is just a conversation. No questions are off limits. Please feel free to ask us whatever you want to. And so with that, we're just going to go ahead and start introducing ourselves. And we have, first of all, Mr. Andre Williams. Andre, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Frank. Good evening, everyone. My name is Andre Williams. I first want to say, before I say anything else, thank you to all of the medical professionals. Thank you for your sacrifice. You guys are on the front line for us, and we depend on you. And we know it's not easy. You have families of your own. So I just want to express my gratitude for the work that you do, including yourself, Frank. But my name is Andre Williams. I am the founder and president of Pivotal Wealth Management, an independent financial advisory firm here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I basically work with medical professionals, business owners, and executives. Basically, I do full comprehensive financial planning, which entails helping people design and model out their financial goals and helping them to reach those goals based on investments, looking at their estate planning needs, and kind of coordinating a number of people on my team to help people reach an end goal. So I'm happy to be on the call today and look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you very much. And next we have Mr. Mark Collier.
Good evening, Frank. How are you?
Good, great. How you doing?
Great. Again, I'd like to echo Andre's sentiments and express my sincere gratitude to all of the medical professionals. In my opinion, you guys are heroes on what you're doing out here to help stem this pandemic, and we should all be very, very grateful. I am with the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. I am a faculty member and business consultant with the center. We have 17 offices around the state, and we have a singular sole mission, and that's to help Georgia businesses grow. We work with a number of medical practices in terms of helping them achieve their business goals in terms of strategic planning, marketing, operational efficiency, HR issues, and financial management. We have 17 offices around the state, and look forward to hearing from some of your members and helping them solve some of their business management structural needs. Tonight, I'm going to be speaking specifically on the SBA disaster loan programs, primarily the EIDL, otherwise known as the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, as well as the PPP, Payroll Protection Program. So I'm happy to be here, and I'll look forward to answering questions and sharing my expertise.
Mark, tell us a little bit more about where you're from, where you went to school, and we're going to come back to you, Andre, and do that again, too.
Sure. I'm a Chicago native originally, proud native of Chicago, South Side. Went to undergrad at Roosevelt University in Chicago and obtained my MBA from Tulane University in New Orleans. Worked in capital projects management for 15 years. And prior to a temporary assignment with the SBA and their disaster assistance division out in Herndon, prior to my current position here as a business consultant and faculty member at University of Georgia Small Business Development Center.
Okay, well, thank you. And last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Kevin Webb.
Good evening. How's everybody? All right, so first and foremost, I'd like to also express my gratitude for all the members of the medical profession that are on this call, and just all the sacrifices that you're making, and the risk that you're putting yourselves and your family, that just to make sure that the rest of us are safe out here. So can't go express my gratitude and thank you all enough for that. I'm originally from Mainz, Germany. I'm actually a military brat. My mother's German. Didn't speak English until I was about 6 years old. When I was about 6, I came to the States, lived in North Carolina for a little while. Moved here to Atlanta when I was about 12, and been in Atlanta ever since. All I've ever done is the financial services profession. I used to be able to run the football a little bit back in the day, so I went to Troy, where I majored in finance. Unfortunately, my NFL dreams didn't quite work out. So the other thing I had an interest in was in money. So I decided to major in finance. So majored in finance. Out of college, got a job at Fidelity Investments. Did some work in a large 401k market at the Westlake office outside of Dallas, Texas. Did that for a number of years, got homesick, wanted to come back to Atlanta, worked right downtown on Peachtree for quite a while at Invesco, doing some more retirement plan asset kind of stuff, helping people decide what to do with their money when they transition. Whether that meant, they got laid off or they retired or they decided to start their own business or they transitioned from one job or another. I did that for a number of years, and in my last corporate role, I was at Nationwide, where I was the director of public sector retirement plans, managed retirement plans for City of Atlanta, Fulton, DeKalb, Marta, Clayton, Memphis, Shelby, a bunch of municipalities throughout the states of Georgia and Tennessee. Had a team of 12 representatives, about $2 billion in assets under management. And in 2013, I decided to walk away from corporate America and go independent, start my own firm, Genesis Asset Management. And instead of just, working in a captive situation offering one company, we wanted to provide a holistic approach to asset management and be able to do everything for our clients and have the universe at our disposal. So starting an independent firm in 2013, Genesis Asset Management. We do wealth management and risk management. So we help people protect and grow their assets, and that entails a lot, everything from life insurance to business insurance and med mal and general liability umbrella policies to long-term disability protect income protection. So we do a number of things for our clients.
Okay. And speaking the Dutch?
Oh, actually, funny story. So when I came to the States, my English was so bad that I actually had to repeat kindergarten.
Oh, Lord. All right, well, we appreciate that. We'll see you on the next show, Kevin. We'll see you on our next episode.
Right. So in an effort to catch me up on my English, my mother stopped speaking German. So I lost it. So I understand it better than I can speak it. I know basics. I know Ich liebe dich, which means I love you, and Mensch mein Neffe, which means you're getting on my nerves. My grandmother said that a lot. I remember that. So basics I know, not fluent.
Well, those are the only words I know, so I just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know a bit of German. But back to you, Andre. You didn't get a chance to tell us more about you, and then we'll start the questions going. Please remember to send us your questions through the chat line or through Facebook.
Yeah, Frank, I didn't want to get in trouble, man. You told me to keep it short and sweet, so. But I'm from Lexington, Kentucky, so I'm a country boy. Came to Atlanta to go to college with Morristown College. I was a business finance major. After I graduated, had a short stint with Georgia Pacific. Just wanted to stay in the Atlanta area. That was the year that 9/11 occurred. So, last in, first out. I got picked up the very next month by AXA Advisors, which is a Fortune 500 company. Actually worked, focused on the retirement space with the Retirement Benefits Group, which was dedicated to the nonprofit sector, K through 12 market, nonprofits, 501c3s, et cetera. And worked my way up, learned a lot of lessons while at AXA. Went to Wharton, through some executive training programs to become a retirement specialist. Ended up getting my CFS, working to finish up which is a chartered financial, CFS deals with mutual funds. So it's a fund specialist, certified fund specialist. And then the CAP, which is a chartered advisor in philanthropy, which is a program I'm going through right now. I'm a Series 7, so I trade a lot of stocks, Series 66, life, health. So I'm able to do wealth management, the insurances, the income distribution strategies, et cetera. So I really do enjoy what I do because you're really helping people get on the right track as far as what they're trying to accomplish, not just long-term, not just retirement, but also all along the way. How can we build the wealth? How can we pay for the kids' college? How can we make sure that you're enjoying vacations and the lifestyle that you want? And most importantly, how can we make sure we maintain that when the income check is discontinued? And so a lot of times people don't think about those things, and especially as medical professionals, you go to work every day. And so you're not looking at the markets. You're not thinking about some of these various strategies that can assist you. And so someone like me or Kevin are the people that kind of work behind the scenes to kind of be your go-to team to assist you in those areas to help you stay on the path that you've identified to us when it comes to your wealth.
Okay. All right. Well, all of y'all have mentioned so many initials that I don't know what any of them mean. So we'll try to go through that as we go along. Y'all can tell us what some of those credentials mean, but we know that we have the right people here with us. I do want to say also from the outset that we want to thank Kevin and Andre because they have supported our organization. Again, we're the Atlanta Medical Association. You all have supported us and the Georgia State Medical Association and National Medical Association. We couldn't do it without people like you. And Mark, before we started, has already said he wanted to reach out to us as well. So we want to thank all of you all for that. So let's get into some questions. A lot of people have been asking questions, and we'll start out with you, Andre. Can you tell us a little bit about the stimulus package and what people can expect to get? First of all, who might be eligible and how just that, all the issues surrounding that. Well, not all of them, but we'll kind of get into that a little bit.
So, I can get into a high level, but the person that deals with it on a daily basis is really Mark, because he's dealing with the PPP with the business owners daily and the EIDL. So I don't want to step on his toes when he's the specialist and on the call for that purpose. So I can speak to it, but I want, if it's okay with you, want to defer to him because he's dealing with the business owners day to day, processing those applications and questions and so on and so forth. So if that's okay, I would defer to him.
And we're gonna get. But what about the individual, who is looking for a check?
Yep. So the individual is looking for a check. That's subject to income levels, right? So you may not be able to get the check. So if your income is $75,000 or less, as far as that individual stimulus check, the $1,200 that people ask about, you'll be able to get the $1,200. Now you got to file your tax returns. So some people may not have filed their 2019 tax returns. So the 2018 tax return can be used, which is just a way for the government to see that you filed your taxes, verifies your income, and you can get the check, right? Then there's the $500 per child, which is subject to an age limitation. I believe, Mark, on that is it's 16, right?
Correct.
16 or under. Yep, 16 or under to be able to get the $500 per child. With that stimulus check, anybody that gets Social Security, they will automatically get the benefit as long as the government knows, has your information, your banking information. They can just put it right into your bank account. If they don't have it, then they'll mail you a check. So those are kind of the high level for the stimulus check. and it phases out. So if an individual, 75,000, it phases out between 75,000 and 99,000. So if you make more than 99,000, you don't get the $1,200, right? For couples, I believe the phase out is it's 198,000. Right. So it's subject to income limits as far as who gets the check and who doesn't. And it looks like Congress is working on another stimulus package that might include another check, but we don't know yet. But that's kind of what's being talked about, I guess, in D.C.
Okay. Do you know, this is a question that someone had, if once you get the stimulus check, is that subject to income tax?
No, it's not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mark, if you could talk, first of all, tell us a little bit more about the Small Business Administration and what is a small business? What qualifies as a small business? And tell us a little bit about what you do before COVID and then what you're doing now that COVID is here.
Very good. The Small Business Administration, most people know it's the federal agency. It stands for SBA is the acronym that's it is typically known as. And there's a general category that they define a small business as, and that is typically under 500 employees and under $30 million in sales. So a lot of people say, gee, $30 million in sales is not small from where I come from. That's generally true, but on the grand scheme of things, that is a small business. Mm-hmm. Typically what I do prior to COVID-19, I work for the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center, faculty member and business consultant. We are typically the state arm of the SBA. So we are in direct contact with business owners because the primary purpose of the SBA and their primary function is to generate small business loans. But once you get those loans, Doctor, it's very important that you're able to generate the revenue to pay them back. Mm-hmm. So that's where we step in as the Small Business Development Center. And what we do is we wrap a whole set of services for small business owners around the 5 core business functional areas of strategic planning, marketing, operational efficiency, financial management, and human resources. Because all businesses have questions, they face challenges in all of those areas, and we help kind of fill in those gaps, kind of help them set the roadmap so that they can succeed. The best thing about us, Doctor, is most people don't know, businesses have already paid for us through the taxes that they pay. So the services that we offer come at no direct cost to businesses. We have 17 offices around the state, and we've been doing this for 41 years.
Are minority business owners aware of all of the things that the SBA could offer, or are we kind of in the dark and not really taking advantage of it?
There are a number of things that the SBA offers, and unfortunately, because we're funded by taxpayer dollars, we don't have an advertising budget. So it wouldn't be a good look to spend taxpayer dollars on advertising. Mm-hmm. And even if we did, they wouldn't yield the type of business clients that we're looking for. If we were out on the TV commercials, we would attract every person that woke up, bumped his head, and thought they could start a business. Mm-hmm. That's not who we want to serve. Our sweet spot is servicing businesses who have employees, who have revenue, who are looking to grow and scale. That is where our sweet spot is, and that is where we add the most value. But back to your question of services available, feel free to visit the SBA website. Feel free to visit our website. Our website is georgiasbdc.org. That's Georgia spelled out, SBDC for Small Business Development Center.org. There you will find a wealth of information on the services and the impact that we deliver to small businesses. And there'll also be some contact information there to reach out to us.
Okay. Now COVID comes along and it turns everything upside down. So what is the responsibility of the SBA now? Well, let's even start higher than that. The CARES Act. Can you talk to us a little bit about the CARES Act and some of the things that are available under that?
Sure. The CARES Act is an acronym for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. And what it did, Doctor, is it allocated $350 billion to help small businesses keep workers employed amid this pandemic. It's affectionately known as the Paycheck Protection Program. And what the initiative does, Doctor, is it provides 100% federally guaranteed loans to small businesses. And one of the most important components of this program is that these loans may be forgiven if borrowers either maintain their payrolls during the crisis or, and this is important, restore the payrolls after the crisis.
Okay. So if they fire a certain percentage of their employees, then they got to pay this money back.
Yes. The forgivable component is equal to 8 weeks of, it's very specific and very quantified, 8 weeks of salary, 8 weeks of either rent or mortgage expense on your office building, as well as 8 weeks of utilities. And those utilities include electric, water, telephone, and internet.
Okay. And you mentioned something earlier about the EIDL loans. What is that, the same thing, or is that something different?
No, those are two different programs. The EIDL loan, as I mentioned before, the PPP is 100% federally guaranteed loan. So those loans are administered through the banks. The EIDL loan is an acronym for Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And those are direct loans from the US Treasury to businesses, which will allow them to pay their fixed and operating expenses as if the disaster never occurred. Both for-profit and not-for-profit businesses must meet that small business criteria that I covered earlier.
Okay. So we have
And
one
Mr.
of
Collier,
our.
Yes.
well, I was going to say one aspect of that PPP is that the income cap is $100,000, but it also includes benefits, health insurance benefits, as well as retirement benefits for that employer, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's a litany of things that covers. I mean, I could certainly get into it if the doctor would like, in terms of
We'll come back for.
not.
We'll go back and forth, and
Sure.
please do get back into it again in just a few minutes. I want to shout out to one of our frequent flyers, Latricia Pitts. She has been on every one of our shows, I believe. Latricia, when you get a chance, type in where you're from. We're trying to shout out to where everyone's from. She has a question. I'm not sure who will be able to answer this one, but hi everyone. What about the solo practitioners that do not have employees? Is there something specific for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer that one.
Okay.
The payroll protection program did open up as of last Friday for sole proprietors, sole practitioners, and 1099s. Again, once again, that application would have to go through a bank. These are not Treasury direct loans. The PPP program is different from the EIDL in that respect.
Okay. Okay. And we'll circle back around in a minute. Brother Kevin, tell us a little bit more about what is a financial advisor, and again, kind of the things that you were doing before COVID and after COVID.
All right. So a financial advisor is someone who offers assistance with, or in some cases, complete management of your finances. So the catch-all term financial advisor is used to describe a wide variety of people and services, including investment managers, financial consultants, and financial planners. So a financial advisor can also be a digital manager as well, and there's even robo-advisors available. So it's a loose term, and it defines several different types of people.
So is there a certain income level that someone should be at before they have a financial advisor, or should everybody have a financial advisor?
That's a great question. So someone who's just normally starting out investing typically would use a self-directed brokerage type of situation, like a E-Trade or maybe a Fidelity. So if you're starting out, wanting to do a small amount, most people utilize a self-directed brokerage. As you start to gather more assets and your wealth starts to accumulate, most people choose to utilize a professional. So typically you have a fee-based advisor who will charge you a flat fee for a financial plan, or you might have an asset manager where they'll charge you an asset management fee for managing your assets.
Okay. And this is a question that keeps coming up. People keep talking about, should I be investing right now? So kind of give us your philosophy on, what we should be doing right now during this time of crisis. Stock market is low. Maybe I should just go in and buy up everything, or what's your strategy? And then we'll ask Andre his strategy.
I would just point to dollar cost averaging. So, if I continue.
Now, you got to break that down, brother. What's dollar cost averaging?
So you want to continue to invest through good and bad times, right? So by investing through good and bad times, you naturally buy, when prices are high, you naturally buy less. When prices are low, you naturally buy more, reducing your overall average cost. So I would definitely say continue to invest and take advantage of the concept of dollar cost averaging. In my opinion, I don't think we've seen the bottom yet. So some people are looking for, where's that entry point where I buy stocks at a low point. I don't think we'll see the low point until there's a cure or a vaccine. So, I would say do dollar cost averaging. If you're looking to enter the market at its lowest point, I don't think we've reached that point yet, as of yet.
Do you have and of course, there's no way that you know the answer to this, but your gut feeling in terms of the financial crisis, how long is that going to last? Is that going to last after the medical crisis is gone, or is the economy going to come back right away?
Well, I know anyone has a crystal ball, right? So how long exactly that's going to last, that would be hard to say. I definitely think there will continue. There will be an aftershock or still after effects even when there is a vaccine. So even if if they came up with a vaccine tomorrow, the impact to the global economy is, the damage is already done, and I think there will be more to come as well.
Same questions to you, Andre. Give us your philosophy on investing during this time of crisis, and what's your gut about how long this is going to last?
So I would say that when it comes to investing, it's always situational, right? What is that individual's circumstances? What's their time horizon? How much long? If they're a long-term investor, absolutely. What Kevin was saying is we want a dollar cost average into the market. So if you have $100,000, instead of you deploying or fully investing that $100,000 on day one, you may take $10,000 and invest that over, make serial payments or investments into the market, so that all my money is not fully exposed to the market on day one. So if the market went down another 20%, then I haven't lost $20,000 on my $100,000. So I've only exposed $10,000, and then the next month I might do another $10,000. And so it gives you, like Kevin was saying, the opportunity to have the ability to buy low as far as shares are concerned, and then if they happen to tick up, you haven't bought at the high point of that particular investment. I would also say that individual stock selection is probably more important today as opposed to buying the entire index, because like it or not, they're going to be total companies that will probably file for bankruptcy as a result of not having any
Tell us what an index is. A lot of people don't know what an index is, or maybe not even know what a stock is. Kind of break that down for us.
Sure. So a lot of people have probably heard of the S&P 500 index, which is the 500 largest companies that make up this particular grouping of stocks. So instead of you going out to buy shares of Apple, let's say, Apple is a part of the S&P 500 index. So when you buy the index, you get exposure to Apple along with the other 499 companies representing that index. An individual stock is going to be anything that you see on CNBC. The stocks, the ticker symbols, you see the ups and downs of various companies. When you buy a share of a stock, you buy a share of ownership in that particular company. If the stock is a growth-oriented company, like a lot of tech companies, they're not, when they make their earnings or make their revenues, all their expenses are subtracted, they have their net earnings, they'll put that money back into their business to grow it. Marketing and advertising, research and development. So they're not paying you anything from the business. So you just want appreciation on your money. So if I put $10 into a stock, I want that $10 share price to go to 20, 30, 40, and so on. Other stocks will pay you or share in some of the earnings of the company. These are usually your more mature companies, like in AT&T, they'll pay you a dividend of $2 a share for every share that you own. So you'll have that income coming into your portfolio. So when you think about how how you structure your portfolio. Again, it gets back to what's your time horizon, what are your goals and objectives, how do you feel about risk. Someone that's risk averse would not have as much money in stocks because they're much more volatile. Fixed annuities are something that people that have really been concerned about the volatility in the market. Fixed variable annuities, equity index annuities, are various types, various flavors of annuities that people are using to hedge against that type of risk. But I don't think you should put all your money into annuities, just like you shouldn't put all your money into stocks. It's important that you sit with an advisor to help you develop and a model portfolio that's ideal for your specific situation.
What
I think
about someone who is not high net worth, someone who makes $25,000 a year? We know that they should be saving, but should they be investing?
I would say you hit the nail on it. Maybe you have adequate cash reserves first. You get heavily invested in the market, because especially in a market like this where if you need those dollars to pay rent, to buy food, and you don't know about your job security, then it may not be wise for you to put money into the market at this time. The risk is just too much. So again, it gets back to what a person's situation is, what their financial picture looks like, as far as what's the best approach for them. So I probably wouldn't advise somebody who's making $25,000 in this environment to put a lot of money into the market right now.
Let's talk again about that individual who's making $25,000 a year, which we know is not a lot of money for an individual and certainly not for a family. And they may be furloughed, or they may have been laid off, but then they get their stimulus check. What should they use that stimulus check for? I mean, we know you got to get food. Should they pay their rent, or should they take a chance? And I mean, I know we don't have the right answer to these, but do you all have a strategy if you were talking to someone that you would give them? What should I do with my stimulus check? How do I divide that check? Kevin, let's hear from you first.
I would definitely say in these times, it's very important for everyone to budget. So I think just going back to the basic fundamentals of financial planning and just looking at your income and expenses right now and budgeting. So I think budgeting is number one. If you do have, a surplus of, resources or income that comes in, I definitely think making sure, just agree with what Andre said, just making sure that you have emergency cash, because right now the future is uncertain. So I definitely would, look at budgeting and saving, and just making sure that you have emergency funds and cash available just in case there is a layoff in the future or something of that nature.
And anecdotally, we hear of different companies, Bell South, Gas South, everyone's saying, they're not going to turn off the heat, they're not going to turn off water or anything. Just anecdotally, have you all talked to anybody who's been able to take advantage of that? Is that really true? Are people cutting off water and cutting off heat, cutting off gas?
No, I haven't heard about anybody having the gas or water turned off. I think in Atlanta, your good friend, the mayor, has actually mandated that there not be any, water turned off during this time because of the hardship. Some people, you lose your job and you got kids at home. It's kind of inhumane to do at this time. So I think that that's not going to be something likely to take place. But I will say this: for somebody that might be lower income and they've maybe worked on the job for a number of years, there is a component of the CARES Act. Now, this is only if there's no other, ring the alarm, I have to get access to some cash. You can actually tap your retirement plan, okay, up to $100,000. So if you needed that reprieve, you can take a withdrawal of $100,000 from your retirement plan, or a loan up to $100,000, and then have a number of years in which you can repay that over time. So instead of not being taxed, you can spread out that tax over time. So maybe you don't take out the $400,000, because remember, that retirement is designed for long-term financial security, but maybe you take out $10,000 to kind of get you by, maybe have a bridge from tough times right now to possibly getting back to work in the future. So there are some opportunities.
That was one of the specific questions that I was going to ask you all about, taking advantage of that, being able to take your money out without penalty, correct?
Yeah. Yep, no withholding, no penalty, correct.
Okay. Mark, back to you. Is this a good time to start a business? I mean, what if you have this great idea? It doesn't require people coming into a brick and mortar place. And I know that would be I mean, you'd have to know specifically what kind of business I'm talking about, but just in general, would this be a good time to start a business?
Dr. Frank, that would depend on the sector. I mean, there are some businesses and some of my clients who are doing exceptionally well now. Those in the medical supply business, those in the e-learning business, those in the transportation business. There have been many businesses that have been started in the depths of the recession. But now's the time to really, I mean, a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands sitting at home quarantined to really think about what the future of this economy will look like. It's my contention that this economy is going to be very different post COVID-19 than it is now. So you've got to be forward thinking. Try to project what goods and services will be in demand once we get on the other side of this pandemic. If you've got an idea and are looking to start a business at this time, I would advise everyone to put the framework in place to set yourself up for success, including getting with a financial advisor like Andre or Kevin, putting together a solid business plan that we can help you with, and getting a good strategic plan and a marketing plan together, which would be part of that business plan.
And what about those people that are in the gig economy, or they're Uber drivers, or maybe even domestic workers? Are there any parts of the CARE Act that applies to them?
As I stated earlier, that when that 1099 sole proprietor gig worker opened up last Friday, they are eligible to apply for both the EIDL loan as well as PPP. And the SBA, I just want to make one last thing. The SBA's directive is, a lot of people are saying, I don't know if I'm eligible, I don't know if I'm credit worthy. The SBA's directive here is everyone is eligible until they're not. It costs nothing to apply, so I'm encouraging everyone to apply for these loans.
What about undocumented members of the society? Are they eligible for any benefits?
I'm afraid not. You have to be a U.S. citizen or have a valid green card, because this is, once again, doctor, this is taxpayer dollars. So.
Okay. You mentioned taxpayer dollars. That's another question that comes up. I know they've delayed the time for filing taxes, but should someone go ahead and pay their taxes now, or should they hold on to that money and save it for a rainy day?
I'm going to have to defer that question either Andre or Kevin, and here's why. And in my capacity, we are precluded from giving advice in two areas: taxes and legal. So
okay, understood. Kevin,
I would have to echo that. So that's tax advice which we can't touch.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get away from that. So I'll tell you, don't pay your taxes. Don't pay your taxes. Hang on to your money right now.
Hey, Doc, when people follow that advice, you're going to put some money on their books when they end up in jail?
I'm going to refer them back to this event that we had tonight when I had 4 experts who said that. Another question, what about, I know that in terms of the interest rate and everything for student loans is being deferred now. But should people keep paying their student loans during this time? Dre, what do you think?
So I actually talked to a couple of clients, and again, I think it's always situational. I don't think there's ever a one-size-fits-all answer to certain questions. So I had a couple of clients that we needed to build up cash reserves. They had some things they needed to take care of, and so we're going to take advantage of it because it's really like a tax interest-free loan for this period of time up until September 30th. So they've taken advantage of it. For others, it could be that they've got the surplus cash flow, adequate cash reserves, and so they look at this as an opportunity to pay down that principal, get more aggressive with the pay down on the principal. So it all depends on the person. But again, it's all about strategy. Like, what are we trying to accomplish? what's the financial picture situation look like, and then we kind of go from there.
What about lots of these? What about should I still be funding my retirement account right now, or should I not? Should I just hang on to that money and use it for other things?
I think it's the same thing that the same way that Andre responded to the other question. So if you can, absolutely. It's an opportunity. Stocks are down right now. It's an opportunity to buy at a relatively low price. But at the same time, if you're having financial challenges, you're better off utilizing those dollars elsewhere. So it's really an individual case-by-case thing, and it's really a matter of budget. So if you are able to contribute and you have a 401k plan that's matching, that's free money. So if you can, and if you're in a position where you're able to continue to contribute, definitely. But if you're in a situation where things are tight and you need to reallocate some dollars, definitely would encourage you to do so. So it's an individual thing.
We have individual who has lost their job. They're unemployed now, and they've been trying to get in touch with the unemployment office. Can't get in touch with them. I mean, are there any strategies for what they can do to try to get in touch with them? Computer's been crashing. And again, I know you all don't have the specific answer to this, but any strategy, because these are the real life questions that people are having. I've been on the phone all day, been on the website all day. Any strategies or suggestions that you all might have?
I would say that, like my grandmother used to say, the squeaky wheel gets oiled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is, if it's me, I'm going to be on my phone, tell your significant other to be on their phone, have all these phone calls, you might go, because you're going to be on hold, and just continue to try to get through. I mean, like you said, go through the computer. These times are pretty significant, and the staffs, I'm pretty sure, as Mr. Carr, you could speak to, are overwhelmed, and so the call volume has spiked, and you probably shouldn't expect to get through very easy. So some people will give up. If you just continue to be persistent, eventually you'll get on the phone with somebody. But make sure you have all your questions ready, because you might not be able to get back through again. So it's just really just persistence and just being kind of dogged about trying to get someone on the phone. Okay.
What about those individuals who are already unemployed, Mr. Collier? They were already unemployed. I read somewhere about an extension of the unemployment support that they can get. Am I saying that right?
Yes, there are two avenues that they can go down, Doctor. The federal government has put in place some unemployment extensions that pay up to an additional $600 per week on the basic or the baseline unemployment benefit that is already offered. In addition to the federal side, many states have also implemented supplemental unemployment benefit packages. So the best route to go is to contact the Department of Labor in your respective state and apply for all of the extended unemployment benefits that you are eligible for, both on the state side and on the federal side.
And how long do these unemployment benefits run for? How many weeks?
I think on the federal side, they're extending them out an additional 4 months. And on the state side, it varies.
Okay.
But don't hold me to that. I'm not an unemployment benefits expert, but that's what I've been hearing.
Okay. So, Kevin, what should people be doing right now to structure their financial portfolio, protecting their practice? What types of things? Let's say they're holding their own, they're getting a little bit of income, they're doing okay. Or let's say someone who's getting their regular income, maybe they didn't lose their job. What lessons should we learn from this right now? What should they be doing for the future crisis?
I think it's just about sticking to the fundamentals, just making sure that you're matching your investments to your time horizon. Make sure you're practicing asset allocation and diversification. And then just making sure that your risk tolerance matches your portfolio. So I think it's very important to get with the financial professional and just identify your risk tolerance, and then make sure that your portfolio matches your risk tolerance and your time horizon. I think that's the most important thing that you can do. And then in addition to that, just looking at what can you do in the future. I think having cash available is very important. So a lot of us stockpile all our money away into our 401k, which you have limited access to in times like this. So I would encourage you to be your own banker. So there are cash value life insurance policies out there that in a time like this, you can access the cash in one of those cash value life insurance policies to sustain your business. So if you look at the Great Depression, businesses like JCPenney and Walt Disney sustained and grew their businesses in, post-Great Depression by accessing money in cash value life insurance policies. So in a time when the stock market is down, you don't want to pull your stocks at a loss. You do want to have liquid cash that you can access for times like this. So I definitely would look at opportunities to diversify your portfolio going forward, somewhere where you can access that cash without, in a tax advantage manner.
And I want you to dig into that a little bit more and hear from the others too about that cash value life insurance. That's something that comes up all the time now. Talk to us a little bit more about that and why that's so important to be able to have that as part of your portfolio.
So one of the things about, so I have some business owner clients now. So they have cash value life insurance policies in which they've built up a significant amount of cash. So they can go and access cash from those.
Break that down for individuals who may have never heard of that before. What is that?
So there's various types of cash value life insurance policies. So the one that's most common is whole life, right? So it's a permanent life, as it's described. It's for your entire life, right? There are also other products that are permanent policies like index universal life, for example, and variable life. So these products are permanent life insurance policies that are built upon a chassis, whether it's an index or the stock market or the guarantees of a whole life policy, and they build cash value. So that cash value grows, and then you can access that cash value through policy loans and withdrawals anytime you like to do so.
Okay.
So in a situation where you might need funds to pay the mortgage or to pay the lights or utilities, or you might need to pay the salary of your employees, you can go into that cash value life insurance policy to access cash to do those type of things without being penalized or having certain stipulations for doing it.
Andre, anything you want to add to that? I know you like to talk about that frequently.
Yeah, so the thing that I really hope people get from this, the lessons, is to really stop, pause, think a minute, and think about the things that you were doing prior to this coronavirus. A lot of times you go on social media, you see that everybody's traveling and, they got this YOLO mentality. You only live once. And so they're going on trips and they got concerts and, timeshares and so on and so forth. But some of those same people are struggling right now. They had the opportunity. They could have been in a better position, but they made poor choices with their dollars. They didn't have cash reserves. They had no investments. Maybe they only put money into the retirement plan up to the employer match, but everything else that they had, they consumed. But steaks and bottles of wine, going out with the girls, the fellas. You can't expect to be financially independent, wealthy, well off in the future if you don't put something away today in order to achieve wealth in the future. You simply cannot. And if all your money's in your retirement plan, that's all you've done, a lot of docs, if you're making significant money, the rule of thumb ought to be 15 to 20% of everything you earn should go towards savings and investments. Now, there's two parts. There's savings, and then there's investments. After you get up to a certain amount of cash savings, then you're doing yourself a disservice if you save any more money in cash, because we all know that cash, checking, savings, money markets aren't really earning you much money. You want to put the rest of that money into your investments, okay? And Kevin mentioned earlier that you don't want to have all your money in just a retirement plan, because now you have no tax diversification, because all of your money was invested pre-tax. So you got all this big kitty at the end called retirement, a 401k and IRA, but it's all subject to ordinary income taxes when you should have been building up after-tax investments. That's going to be your brokerage accounts, your stocks, mutual funds. It's going to be cash value life insurance policies that can provide you with tax-free monies. Roth IRAs, a number of things that you can do, but you need to diversify. We call it tax diversification. So everything's not going to be 100% income taxable when you retire, but you got to start doing that stuff. Estate planning. I got so many calls about life insurance because medical professionals are worried about getting coronavirus and what if I die? You got to be proactive. If you're thinking about that stuff now, it's usually too late. Okay. Wills, trust. You need to get with an attorney to put together the wills and the trust. Who gets what? Who's the guardian of your children? Being proactive. This quarantine gives you plenty of time to sit down and rethink some things that you may have done incorrectly before and things that you need to do different going forward. So don't waste this quarantine time watching Netflix all day, but really think about what you need to be doing different going forward if you haven't done the correct things in the past.
You read my mind because my next question was going to ask about COVID and insurance. First of all, if it was also about like disability insurance. So if someone has COVID, can you be disabled from COVID and COVID, and will you be eligible to get your disability benefits from COVID infection?
It's definitely possible. So initially, coronavirus, no, wouldn't qualify as a long-term disability, but it could eventually turn into that. So if it becomes, a major issue where you're hospitalized for an extended period of time, it could potentially turn into a long-term disability situation. Now, if you're at an employer and you have short-term disabilities, like Aflac, Colonial, that supplemental insurance, so it definitely the hospital stay, those kind of things, those could qualify under supplemental benefits or short-term disability, and it eventually could turn into a long-term disability if it's something that lasted over an extended period of time where you couldn't work due to sickness or illness or injury, disabilitating injury. So it could potentially turn into something like that, yes.
Now, what if one of our members that's watching now, they haven't been doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't have their insurance in place, and God forbid they develop COVID. Now they want to go and get an insurance policy. Are they going to be eligible? Is anyone going to insure them?
I actually saw an interesting article the day before yesterday about the cost of if you don't have health insurance and you develop COVID. So the cost is in the neighborhood of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if you don't have health insurance and you end up getting COVID-19, it could end up being very, very expensive. So if you don't have health insurance, I definitely would look at getting some health insurance, even if it's short-term disability in place. You definitely want to have some form of health insurance in place. And then, if you get laid off or you lose your job or you lose health insurance, well, you have a qualifying event, so that enables you to apply for health insurance. So if you don't have health insurance, it's definitely something that you want to look at and make sure you get it in place. You don't want to be caught without health insurance and get COVID. It can be very expensive.
Mark, I know you tried to get in there a few minutes ago. Any comments you want to make about this question or any of the previous question?
Sure. I'd just like to kind of echo Andre's sentiments. In times of economic downturns, cash is king. And Andre gave some very good strategies for trying to raise cash via insurance policies and some other avenues. I'd like to also add to that, one of the ways which I consult with my clients in terms of raising cash is equipment leasing program. Sometimes doctors have very expensive medical devices and equipment that they pay cash for in the good times. They can certainly enter into a leaseback agreement. Some banks offer those programs at very attractive rates that will free up some cash. And lastly, Doctor, it's very important now for the medical doctors and your membership to really look at their practice, how it's going to operate in the future in a post-COVID environment. I'm a forward-looking person, and I believe a lot in strategic planning. So strategic planning begins with a detailed SWOT analysis. You have to sit down and look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and then take a look at the business model canvas. How are you competing out here? What are your key activities, your resources? what's your value proposition out here in the marketplace relative to your competitors? And what are your customer relationships like? And then you have to go through an operations audit because as Andre said, cash is king. So any type of cost cutting, cost savings, cost avoidance that you can generate out of your practice right now will trickle right down to the bottom line. And then lastly, look at the HR. You've got, you may have some redundancy or some personnel there that where functions can be duplicated. You may have to make some cuts there. It's all about, as Andre said, freeing up that cash, getting your business to operate in its most lean capacity so that you can have the best chance to survive this downturn that we're in.
Okay. Now you made several key points. And what struck me as you were talking, I don't think before now, I've never thought of a medical practice as a business. And physicians, we're terrible business people. And I'm sure, Andre, you see that, Kevin, you see that. We think we know everything, but we're terrible at business. And in your position as working with the SBA, do you see a lot of physician practices? I mean, do a lot of physician practices come to you, and are they one person, mom and pop kind of physician practices, or are they the larger systems practices?
We've got three types. We got the individual mom and pop practices come to us. We also have the group practices where they have a number of doctors within a practice. And then we've got the enterprise organizations, the ones who are aligned with the WellStars and those types of practices. And because we have an influx of all three types of medical practices, we have a dedicated medical practice division within the Small Business Development Center that's specifically dedicated to assisting doctors in maximizing the business aspect of their practice. Because when we help doctors maximize their profits, they've got a lot more money to go see Andre and Kevin for that additional help and how to work with that.
And do you all work with nonprofits also?
We do not, unfortunately, because our business model is a simple one. When we help businesses grow their revenue, grow their employees, they pay more taxes. Nonprofits do not pay taxes, which is why we can offer our services at no direct cost, because our business model is to get businesses to grow and scale so they can pay more taxes and the entire economic well-being of Georgia is enhanced. Now, I will answer for you, though, on the not-for-profit side, there is a center called Georgia Center for Nonprofits. They essentially do the same job that we do for nonprofit entities.
Okay. That's some great information. And I'm just curious, how often do you have financial advisors come to you along with their clients, and work together? Is that something that you don't frequently see? And same question to you, Andre and Kevin, do you all ever approach or recommend to your clients that they contact the Small Business Administration?
I'd like to answer that first, and then I'll defer. I work a lot with financial advisors, small business attorneys, CPAs, because they use us as a value add for their clients. Again, when we help their clients do better, they have more money to bring back to them. So we are a no-cost value add for Andre and Kevin and their practice out here.
Okay. Same question, Andre and Kevin, to you. Do you all have any clients that have sought the advice of the Small Business Administration?
Yes, I had a couple of occasions where that's been the case. Not a lot, though. And probably now that I've got this connection that you put me in touch with, I probably should do more of that. And I just really think that, I want to see more Black physicians and Black practices thrive because, we always talk about how, everybody, I'm not trying to be negative, but, people think that white is right. Let's be real, right? And so Black physicians don't get the same type of respect in a lot of ways. But we got to change that. We got to change that mentality because the Black doctors are the ones that are going out to the rural areas to help people that look like us. And so we really have to be mindful of these folks went through the same level of training, and they care just as much or more about you and your health. So how can we support and help these doctors? And part of that is we want to make sure that their financial health is good. Part of that is making sure that they have the cash flow and liquidity they need to be successful with their business. So I will admit I need to do more of that with clients in private practice.
Okay. Kevin,
we've done some of that. We have several clients that are looking to grow and scale their businesses. So I've actually learned a lot from Mark today. So I absolutely want to get his contact information and have some clients that I would like to send his way. So now that I have a deeper understanding of, the type of clients that they're looking for, I actually thought they were looking more so for startups. So they're looking for established businesses that are looking to grow their business. So just having that deeper understanding of what they do and what their ideal clients look like, definitely looking forward to working with those folks to help these people grow their business.
Okay.
Look forward to helping you, Kevin.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So I'm just looking forward to helping you.
Oh yeah. So we need to all work together more. And that's part of why we wanted to do this Ask a Black Doctor platform, because we don't get a chance to ask each other questions enough. People that look like us, people that have the same experiences as us, that we can trust and they speak our language. And so we need to do a lot more of this. And I can see already we formed a bond here tonight. We're gonna get some stuff done. We have a lot of things as the Atlanta Medical Association that we're trying to do in the community, and like I said, you all have already been very helpful with us trying to achieve some of those things. And Mark, you again mentioned your desire to help us out. We have a lot of entrepreneurs within the Atlanta Medical Association, and we need to utilize our resources a lot more. We have probably about 5 minutes left. One or two more questions, and then we're trying to get a wrap up. And before we go, please, everybody remind me, I want you to give out your contact information, your website, and any last comments you have. A question about should I get a home equity loan or a personal loan? Let's say someone who's not in dire straits right now, but they're just a little uncomfortable and they want to be comfortable. Is this a good time to get a home equity loan or a personal loan? Oh, everybody's quiet. That must be a good question.
I think that's more of a banker type of question. I can say the interest rates are low right now. So, those that in a position to be able to maybe refinance or, that type of thing, or if you are in a situation where you are in dire straits and you have a signature of a loan available. So as a last resource, that might be an option. But also, as Andre alluded to earlier, is a situation where you can borrow money from yourself in a 401k and then, pay that back with little to no interest. Or if you are paying interest back, you're paying the interest back yourself, then that would be a better opportunity than going and paying interest to a bank. Or if you have, a situation where you have cash available, or a situation where you might have access to cash in a policy, then there might be some other options that might be available. But if a loan is the last option, that might be an option. Interest rates are low right now, but again, you're going to have to pay that loan back. So, you might be creating a bigger problem. If you're having challenges bringing in funds, and then you take a loan at some point, you're not increasing your expenses or adding another obligation. So I would look for other sources before going the route of taking a loan.
Okay. So to kind of summarize some of the things that we've talked about tonight, that there is hope on the horizon. At least there are some things in place for those individuals that have lost their jobs or have been furloughed or have seen a decrease in income. At least there is a stimulus package in place. It may be difficult to get, but at least there's a package in place. And I forgot, one of you mentioned that there may be another stimulus package coming down the pipe. As we close out, if each of you could kind of give some advice for different levels of people that we have watching. If you're a person who's bringing in a pretty significant income, or if someone who is not as fortunate and bringing in a little bit less of an income, or you may be an hourly wage earner, can you kind of give each one of those levels of individuals a little bit of advice as we close out. Why don't we start with you, Kevin?
I would say that no matter where you are on the spectrum right now, now is a really good time to reevaluate your financial situation and do a financial plan. So I would definitely take some time to look at your financial situation, and then if you had a life-change event or anything's changed, just reassess your financial situation and financial plan, kind of look at where your portfolio is now. And, most cases it's probably dropped a little bit, but just kind of, see where that leaves you in relation to being on track for meeting your financial goals, and then adjust your financial plan. So I think it's a real good time to revisit your financial situation, your financial goals, and make sure that you're doing a good job of budgeting. So those are the things that I would encourage people to do right now.
Okay. Can you give us your company name and website again? And if you want to shout out to anybody one last time before we go.
Absolutely. My firm is Genesis Asset Management. Our website is www.gamsg.biz. Again, that's www.gamsg.biz. And our office cell phone number is 404-769-1401. What I'm going to do for anyone listening tonight is I'm going to offer a complimentary financial analysis to AMA members and anyone listening in on tonight's webinar.
Well, we really appreciate that. We really appreciate that. And as I said, all of these gentlemen have been working with our organization and members of our organization, and we really appreciate you. Mark, how about you? You've given us some excellent information tonight, and I'll be the first to. I was really ignorant of what I've heard of the Small Business Association, but I really didn't understand the potential that was there to partner with you all, and the amount of resources that are there. So any last comments, any words of advice from you?
I'd like to echo Kevin's sentiments. I would like to see all of your membership just do a comprehensive assessment of where your business is today, where you want to be in the future, and then we would do a gap analysis to figure out a detailed plan on how to get you there. If anyone wants to reach me, my website is, again, georgiasbdc.org. My office number is 770-414-3023. Again, 770-414-3023 is my office number. And I would love to work with all Georgia businesses, especially the medical practices, which are part of your valued membership, in helping them grow and scale their practices so they can make boatloads of money to bring to Andre and Kevin.
All right. And thank you again to you for your knowledgeable input, and we appreciate it, and we certainly will be reaching out. And we're going to put everybody's info and resources up on our website so that we can have it. And Andre, bring it home for us, brother.
Okay. So I would say that I want everybody to just take all the emotion out of all this stuff. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. But let's actually be honest with ourselves and assess where we are and what we might be able to do different. Now, some of us know I haven't saved like I need to. I probably spent too much money. Some of us don't really have a clue of where to start or where to begin. But people like Kevin and myself, that's what we are here to help with, as far as helping you with that plan, helping you to kind of get from A to Z, if you will. But you got to get back to the basics. You got to get back to looking at your budget, right? You got to manage that budget. If you know you got, a bunch of credit cards and they're costing you 24% a month as far as the interest rate, well, use this time to furlough on the student loans to take that money and pay down that expensive credit, because that's expensive and it's just going to keep building. I really would like to see somebody from a business perspective actually get into the telemedicine space. That's a huge industry right now, especially with this coronavirus. Why can't a few doctors with different specialties get together and form some sort of a company that deals with telemedicine that can address this on a go-forward basis? Because I'm still kind of nervous to go into a big hospital if I had to with coronavirus. So let's kind of get those ideas going. You got this time in quarantine. Look at yourself personally as far as what you need to do from a financial plan perspective. Where can you cut those expenses? And I hate to say it, but some of you got the Maserati for the expensive cars and things are getting tight. hey, maybe you need to reconsider having that type of a car note. But where can you cut those costs? That's what you really need to be looking at. And then think about how you can get lean so that you can prepare yourself to go next level with whatever it is that you want to do as far as building your practice, building your brand, building your wealth. And so it really kind of starts there. And then from there, this stock market is a significant opportunity. There are certain investments, I'm not going to name any stocks, but some of these stocks are up, depending on which ones you look at, 50%, 100% because of the industries that they're in. So there's still opportunities to make money in this market. It's just that you got to select the right companies that have a good long-term growth prospect. So look at your portfolio. When you see that it's down, don't look at that as a something to get depressed about. You definitely don't want to take all your money to cash because all you're doing is locking in losses. You go back to 2008, we have a 57% loss in the market. But if you kept your money in, the bottom happened in about early parts of 2009, March 2009, it would have been up over 300%. You would have tripled your money. And had you been investing all along the way with the dollar cost averaging that Kevin talked about earlier, you would have more assets. So this is time to reflect, adjust, do things differently so that you're financially stronger in the future. So I hope that everybody will take the time to ponder these things, think about it, have a conversation with myself, with Kevin, and of course, Mr. Collier. I can be reached at area code 678-480-9948. And my email address is awilliams@pivotal, pivotalwm.com. So thanks for your time tonight, folks. Appreciate it.
And you earlier, you said you want to shout out to some little social club that you say you want to shout out a little earlier.
Okay, see, that's very disrespectful. I want to shout out the bruh of Alpha Phi Alpha, and if you didn't know, we were the first. So anybody else after, that's like, second, third. I guess they matter a little bit, but the first is always most important.
Well, they saved the best for last. Omega. I always have to shout out to bruh. Shout out to all of our folks out there, and we like to have fun. We like to enjoy ourselves. And you said something earlier that really made me smile because last night we had a teleconference. We had a webinar on telehealth and telemedicine, and it was excellent. And so you're right on target with your comments and your thoughts, and something that we definitely were thinking about, and that is available. All of our shows all of our webinars are available on our website, which is atlantamedicalassociation.org. We're in the process of changing our website. So coming soon, you'll see, Lindsay Brereton. Now you show up. She said ski fi, whatever that means. Ski fi. I know what it means, but we're going to
I know what it means, Lindsay. I love you, Lindsay. I know what it means. Fi ski, darling. Fi ski. We know what
Lindsay,
it means.
I thought we were friends. But yeah, all of our shows can be seen on our website as well as on our YouTube channel. And again, this was streamed live on Facebook. So please share this with your Facebook friends. And all we're trying to do is educate our community in so many different ways. Coming up soon, we're going to be doing another webinar where we're going to reach out to our elderly patients that are in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. And we're really going to try and break it down for them on their level. That one won't be live because they probably won't be able to, do the technology thing. I'm sure some of them could, but we just want to educate them. We're going to give them some information. Hopefully they'll show it at their living quarters so that we can really explain to them what's going on. I'm sure they're afraid, and we just want to be able to answer any questions. They're going to get some questions from them ahead of time and answer their questions. Also coming up right now, we're scheduled for next Wednesday, our next Ask a Black Doctor question. If you all know, well, I'm sure you know some high school students, college students, pre-med, students in med school, residents. Everyone is just so afraid right now because they have no idea what's going to happen with their educational process. Students that are trying to get into medical school can't take the MCAT, or students trying to get into law school. So many questions come up. So we're going to try to we're going to try to assemble a group of experts that are admissions officers, that are residency program directors. That's the plan right now for next week. If we can coordinate it, hopefully we will be able to do that. But we're always here to answer your questions. Please feel free to reach us by email on our websites. And again, This is from the Atlanta Medical Association, Ask a Black Doctor, and we thank you for joining us. So again, to our guests, we appreciate you being here and look forward to hearing from you again in the future. Stay safe, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.